Today we're going to work with fill opacity, alignment, as well as adding folders. Start by using the custom shape tool, and I am going to draw a flower. So if you see here on the right, I can click and drag, and that is going to draw me my flower. Okay, so at that point I was able to just click and drag. Next, I want to create an animal on the left side. I want to draw an animal. I want to draw a kangaroo, let's say. But this time I'm going to double click on the desktop. I'm going to double click, and this gives me a different box. So here I can actually set the height and the width of the shape that I want. Whereas on the right side with the flower, I just click and drag a text box, and the flower was there. Clicked FX to add a drop shadow. I made sure the blending mode is normal. Opacity is at 100%. The spread is about 35 or 40, and the size is somewhere about 70. Then I want to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to click and add a drop shadow with the same parameters but a different color. My text here of fill opacity 100%. Then I'm going to duplicate these. So remember, I can hold my Alt key down. Okay, and I can go and change these. Next, I want to duplicate my kangaroo. So again, I can hold the Alt key down. He can hop over here, and then finally he can hop over here. And I'm going to do the same thing with my flower. Now to the main part of this. I'm going to move my layers panel over here to make it easier to see. So on these two, instead of changing the opacity here, I'm going to change the fill opacity to 50%. Okay, and then the bottom one I can change to either 20 or 10%. So again, I'm changing the fill opacity and not the regular opacity. Okay, so notice there is a difference. So on this one, I maybe change that one to 20%. So what we need to notice here is when we change the fill opacity, it does not affect the stroke or any of the layer effects, or any of the effects you can still see. If you adjust the opacity completely, for example, in number 1, so if I adjusted the fill opacity here for everything, let's say to 50%, it changes everything. However, if I just change the fill opacity, I can see all of the other layer effects. Next, I want to align all 3 of my kangaroos. I can hold my control button here and select all 3. And if you notice, the one on the top, the tail is furthest to the left. So if I choose align to the left edge, they're all going to align to the furthest one. If I want them to align up here to the bottom kangaroo, I can align these to the right, and they will literally jump ahead to the other side. And then I can go ahead and align all 3 of my flowers as well. So again, I can just hold the control key here, select all 3. This is with the move tool on, and these I can turn to the right. Now what I also want to do is I want to go ahead and group these from layers. So if you notice, I already have all 3 of these selected. I'm going to go to my layer panel options, and I'm going to choose new group from layers. I can call these flowers. And I want to go ahead and make sure I give this a color of green, just to help you see that. Next, I can use my control key and do all 3 of my kangaroos. Layer, new group from layers. I can call that kangaroo and change the color. And then finally, I can go ahead and select all of my text boxes and do the same thing, new group from layer, and that is for a text box. There we go. You can also turn the visibility on and off. So that's just a quick review on how you can impact fill opacity, how you can align using the move tool, And then finally, how you can go in and create different folders from your layers. Thanks for listening to another tutorial from Ms. Roberts at Southern Lee High School.